says we're going live. It says we're going live. It says we're going live. It says we're here.
Really?
I don't know if I'm actually here and existing in this plane until my existence is validated by others. You know, you don't count because you could be part of the figment of my imagination. I've had a very, very vivid imagination from a very early age. Look, this ability to talk to myself and have full-on conversations did not spring up out of nowhere. It was started in the womb.
I got an ad for constipation.
The fact that there are ads gives me hope. What those ads are says more about you than it does about us. Just saying. Let us move forward, shall we? Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Kayla Lord.
John Brownstone.
Of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. This is our weekly live stream where we record our podcast, the audio version of which goes out on all major podcast apps every Friday. We are here 8 minutes early as of this second. If you're here for the live stream and you don't like idle chit-chat, you got a few minutes. If you're here after the live stream is over, but before I put in timestamps and you don't like idle chit-chat, fast forward by about 8 minutes. Woo! I said it. I think I said all the words in the correct order.
That's an accomplishment.
I know. I'm going to say hi to folks now.
Be my guest.
Hi, Little Miss. Hi, John Brownstone. Hi, Missy. Hi, Silent Wing. Hi, C. Stevens. Hi, Kitty. Hi, Mally. Hi, JB. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Mr. Spock. Hello. Look, I put a dark lipstick on. I get my hair refreshed. No, can't nobody tell me nothing.
Oh?
I mean, you can, but that's different.
Yeah, all right.
I'm gonna be a little extra before you tell me.
When you start making blanket statements of nobody can tell me nothing, that
Let me pretend I'm something, okay? Please let me have a moment to lie to myself where I big myself up and pretend I have all this self-confidence and that I am something, okay? Just let me have the fantasy for a few seconds.
You're something to me.
I know, but that's a different kind of something. I'm a very specific something to you, and it's a very submissive do what daddy says, or let's play that fun game of only kind of do what daddy says. Like, actually, I do what you say as a submissive. I do what you say, but am I maybe going to give you, like, just a touch of attitude first?
Oh, yeah.
Am I going to tell you I don't want to, and that while I'm doing it?
If you didn't, I'd be like, who the hell are you, and what are you doing to my wife?
But sometimes I want to feel like I'm this the other part of me, like the part of me that doesn't belong to you, but that I like could put out into the other part of the world, and I don't have that confidence. I am trying, but I don't even know what the words are you're supposed to say when you're a person like that.
Mr. Spot, the thing that gets me is that apparently I didn't give it to her good enough earlier this morning for her to be that.
Stop, because the things that were hurting were not the things that were supposed to be hurting. Like, yeah, my ass still hurts, but my neck started bothering me, my wrist started bothering me, my shoulder. We've got to get a spanking bench.
Yes.
Which there's going to be a plan in our OnlyFans for that. Yep. So just so you know.
And Rara, yes, it is pink shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to go, well, is it more of a salmon or coral? But no, it's pink.
It's pink.
It's pink.
Yeah.
Oh, more folks have arrived. I want to say hello. Hi, Andre. Hi, Lady Blooding. Hi. Did I say hi to you, Eva, already? If I did, you're the double hi today. If not, hello. Hi, Fancy Bread. Hi, Rara. Hi, HM. Yeah, Mr. Spock, exactly. We weren't quite mid-scene. I was ready. I was close to ready to be done because we were using our electropaddle with the axis thing from Electrostim, and you were ramping up the electricity, and
I wasn't getting enough of a reaction
because I like that buzzy feel mostly. But like, we were probably going to be close to winding down, and I mostly had to go, I can't keep bending this way.
Would that be steamed trout, Silent, or steamed salmon?
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. But
the shirt,
okay.
Color of the shirt.
Hi, Dorina. Hi, Taishu. So, steamed trout. I've not ever seen a steamed trout. Flounder. Mm-hmm. Ooh, it could be flounder.
You've left me floundering on that one.
We haven't eaten enough seafood lately. We don't have the budget for seafood. Thank God for Aldi and their salmon.
Yeah.
What else? I've deflated now. I had that like 30 seconds of bravado.
That was quick for you. Yeah.
And then like now I'm a shy, socially anxious
you.
person again who's like, what? I don't know. I've been spending a lot of time over the past couple weeks getting out of my comfort zone, and it is wrecking parts of my mental. To the extent that in the moments I get to be kind of by myself and not like focused on work or something, like when I'm driving home after dropping the kid off at school, or I'm just like alone for 5 minutes, I have these like, am I doing the right thing, or should I just go back to not doing this anymore? Because one, this is difficult, and two, it's making me feel all kinds of ways, and three, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and should I stop? Why am I doing this again? I mean, I'm a masochist, but this might be taking things a little too far. Oh, God. I know, Mr. Spock, and I even buy into the whole, in order to grow, you got to get out of your comfort zone. But I have had some serious, like, full-blown conversations with myself of, but do I really? Do I need to grow in this way? Do I really? I mean, what? You want me to actually see myself the way you see me? That's not even... I will say this. There are some subreddits where I could just swim in those subreddits, because it's the BBW subreddits. They fucking love parts of me that I know you love too. That I'm like, every time I look at them, I go, can I just make that go away? And then I go over to this part of Reddit, and I go into these subreddits, and I post like things, and people are like, I'm like, oh. And then I feel bad, because I'm like, but shouldn't I feel that way when my own husband / daddy Dom tells me that?
Do I need to have you start doing
no, God,
mantra
no.
in the mirror again?
I think taking pictures of myself naked is enough. I think, and then posting some of them out where others can. I think I'm doing enough. You know what it is? You know what part of it is? And it actually ties into this week's episode. When we get sometimes we get disconnected mentally, and then sometimes it's that whole long-term relationship thing. We don't look at each other through NRE, new relationship energy eyes anymore.
True.
We do not have the same level of excitement for one another. Like when we were long distance, and we were like, you had to go all that time.
When are we going to be together again?
Right. Yeah. And so now we're like, yes, I love you. Of course I love you. And I love everything about you. And I wouldn't change one fucking thing. But also I see it every day. So it's not exciting anymore. I want to be a person who doesn't need some level of external validation, but I'm not that girl. I'm not. I'm trying. Part of this is sort of forcing me to. But whoo, doggy, it's tough. Why am I doing this to myself? I don't know. Okay, we have like a minute, and I went off on a ramble, and thankfully the live chat can keep itself occupied. I don't think any of y'all need us. We just need to like start this live so this live chat exists and let y'all go. Y'all don't actually need us. That's okay. That takes some of the pressure. You got anything else for the butt rub? We got a whole last minute left.
Well, talk about that we almost didn't live stream. You didn't know about this when we fixed tried to fix the converter box
thing. Yeah.
And it fell.
You said it.
We lost all internet.
Yeah, you said that.
Okay.
But by the time you told me, smart man that you are, you were already fixing it.
Yeah.
So we're good. Okay, it's noon. Yeah. We can officially get started. Hi. This week, we're answering non-kinky relationship questions again from Therapy Chef again. And I'll tell you why when we get to where we actually get started, because this was not planned, and then it ended up being like perfectly timed. So that's what we're doing. If you enjoy this while it's happening, we love a thumbs up.
I'm afraid.
I am too. If you like it enough to want to come back for more, please consider subscribing.
And once you subscribe, ring that notification bell so you get updates of new content.
Just do what Daddy says. And if you really like what we do, want to help us do more of it, get access to just extra stuff, you got two choices. You can join us on Patreon, where if you're into this live chat kind of vibe, we have a Discord where you can sometimes get that kind of vibe. Plus extra content, live stream, video, podcast. If you are a YouTube only person, you can join us here as a YouTube member, and you get an extra live stream and video each month. Oh shit, I need to figure out what our video for this month is going to be. Where the fuck did May go? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh
Mayday,
my god.
Mayday.
And yeah, there's that. We are really on top of it this week. If you would like to click magic buttons,
All right.
I'll move my coffee out of the way.
Where's the...
I don't know. If you don't know, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to kick the fans on.
It's really just a fan. It's not multiple fans.
Well, there's two fans in the fan.
But it's one unit.
With two fans.
But it's one unit. If you want it to be two fans, that's fine. Whatever Daddy says.
How many fans do you see when you look at that?
I see one. I'm sorry. I see one. It's all.
How many fans do you see when you look at that box?
I see two circles. That is what I see. But my brain goes, that is a fan. I'm sorry. You can want me to be different. You can even want a different response.
In case you didn't see it, our mods are having internet connectivity issues.
Okay, then we will do our best to keep our eyes
Yes.
open. Oh, I have been meaning to make you an actual mod.
You keep
and I
talking
keep
about that. You keep telling me you're going to give me some power around here, but you know.
Oh, the irony. The irony. Okay. We should actually get into things. I feel so sorry for anybody who's just finding us for the first time, and this is what they're getting. It is and it isn't like this all the time. Before we get into the actual episode, we do have some announcements. I don't know why I wrote them in this order. I'm gonna flip some things around. No, I'm not. I'm going to keep them the same. Okay. Chaos. Okay. We are sponsoring ourselves once again because that's what we do. Because I keep not responding to the company that wants to sponsor us. Oh
Girl.
God. I know.
Girl.
So we're sponsoring ourselves. This particular episode is focused around our relationship, and in our case, sort of reconnecting. And I thought it was a good time to remind folks who maybe are just setting up their power exchange, figuring out that they're kinky and that they want a power exchange. Maybe they're in a power exchange and are like, okay, we got past the basics, but the rest of this real life shit is kind of fucked up. We have workbooks that can maybe help you work through those things, talk through those things with a partner. 30 Days of DS, 30 Days of DS Volume 2, plus a long distance DS workbook that's about figuring out the strategy of how you're going to actually do the thing in DS from a distance. And those are all available on our Etsy shop. There's tons of other stuff there too, but because of the nature of this week's topic, I thought I would just remind folks that we have some digital workbooks. They're the moment you make your purchase through Etsy, and Etsy approves their thing. It's an immediate download. It's a PDF. You can print it. You can use your digital planner. You can use whatever you use for doing anything with a PDF. You can do that. And the 30 Days of DS 1 and 2 have, as in the title implies, 30 things. So you can use them as conversation starters with a partner, or as journal prompts if you're doing some self-reflection, or both. And yeah, so Etsy shop linked in the places. Like I said, you'll find other stuff there too, but that's what I thought we would remind folks that we have. Those are workbooks that we've made. We have links to resources in them from content we've made, and we talk about our personal experiences, especially in the long distance DS one. So there you go. Next announcement. This Friday, so the day this episode goes live on podcast apps, Friday, May 19th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, we will be going live here on YouTube. It is our monthly hangout thing that we do. There's also a Q&A in it. And we just hang out and chit chat and get silly, and when there's no questions, we're talking. Sometimes JB hits me with things consensually, but I have to remind him that we have a place where he gets to hit me with things. Another place. So
those are just love taps.
That's true.
Compared to,
Yeah. And then, so for podcast listeners, the link to the live stream will be in the show notes on Friday, but also I put it in our newsletter, in case, for people who want to join it, but maybe they're not subscribed on YouTube, or they're not regularly on YouTube. So I try to put the links as many places as I can. And then the third and final announcement. We're going on a break. And we're doing it different than we usually do. We always, every few months, we take like a week off. Our week is actually going to be technically from a Wednesday to a Wednesday. So from y'all's perspective, we're going to be gone for 2 weeks, because it'll be 2 Wednesdays where there's no live stream. So 2 Fridays where there's no episode. Probably one of those weeks there will be no newsletter. Family's coming into town. The 17-year-old's graduating high school. We need to take some time to rework our recording configuration and live stream configuration. And we were like, all of this just works. So May 19th on Friday will be the last time we go live or stream or do anything content wise until basically June. We might, as we're working on the reconfiguration of stuff, we may pop on like a random live that serves no purpose other than to test. So if you're around and you see that,
talk about that a little bit more in the bonus.
So those are the announcements, as chaotic as all of that just was.
And Lola's using my foot as a pillow for her head.
So you're stuck there and you can never move until she's ready for you to move.
Right.
Okay, so this week's topic, now that we're finally there, we have done an episode similar to this in the past, from the same content creator that I found on Instagram. I believe he's also on TikTok and probably everywhere else. It goes by Therapy Jeff on Instagram. He talks about relationships a lot and gives food for thought or questions or conversation starters for couples, and it's all geared towards anybody, but it's all non-kink kind of stuff. And y'all know me, I love to kink up some vanilla shit. Like, how can I turn this really cool non-kinky thing into definitely a kinky thing? This is one of them. I've linked in the places to the Instagram reel where I got these questions and saw this original post, if you would like to follow Therapy Jeff or hear him for yourself or whatever. And his post is 10 questions to get back in touch with how much you love your partner. So the reason we're doing this is because it is timely. The day before I came across this reel, I don't even follow Therapy Jeff. He just comes up in my recommendeds and I just watch. We had been, the day before I found this reel though, we had been really snappish with each other that day. Like, tensions have been a little, there's been extra stress on top of the day-to-day stress. It's been a moment. And we both kind of simultaneously got snippy with one another in a conversation where nobody was angry at each other.
And there was no reason for it.
Right. It was just the tone we were taking with one another. And yes, you can have your opinions about a submissive taking that kind of tone. But I looked at you after I realized what had happened and went, can we talk to one another like we love one another? I missed that.
That's no fun.
Right. And so then the very next day I see this and I go, this is for us. And why would we do anything privately when we can do it publicly for everybody else to witness? So we're going to answer these questions together. And if you are finding yourself kind of in a similar place in your own relationship, maybe life's just a little much and you're not like being your very best dom or sub self or just partner self. If any of these kind of questions like resonate with you, maybe you can have the conversation in your own relationships. So yeah, here we go. So I'm going to read the question and then we'll give each other an opportunity to answer it. The first question is, why did you choose each other in the first place? So why did you choose me, Daddy?
I didn't. You chose me.
Daddy! God!
No, you, you liked my sense of humor.
No, you can't say why I chose you. Why did you choose me?
Okay, you liked my sense of humor.
It's going to be a long ass episode. There's 10 of these motherfuckers, okay?
But no, really, that was one of the things, we met on our blogs. I was doing some goofy shit on my blog, and you liked it.
Oh, God, I thought you were hilarious. If
Yeah.
I had only known how far you would take the dad jokes and the puns.
Hey, it was in the fine print.
It wasn't even there. It was out. It was in bold print.
Right.
It was all capitals. You
Yeah.
never hid your very
No.
much dad
No.
sense of humor.
No, but you appreciated it, and that.
Oh yeah, because you have an intelligent humor. I mean, it was unexpected, and it was funny, and it was like irreverent, and I came across your blog at a time when there was a lot of upheaval, and I was nursing a broken heart, and so yeah, you made me laugh. But that's the only reason you chose me, is because I laughed. Come on.
No, the other thing, it was several things. It was that, and it was the fact that you could carry on a good conversation.
Oh God, yeah. If we can't carry on a conversation, what the fuck are we doing?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
That kind of impressed me, especially when we moved our conversations into email.
Where I flourish. Give me unlimited characters. I can do this.
So I noticed. So.
Okay.
Right.
Anything else?
So.
Why did I choose you?
Why did you choose me?
Well, yes, you were funny. I mean, if somebody can make me laugh, that's always like a draw. That's always endearing. But you were also, you're also a very good listener. You were never that guy that had to interject your opinion. You were not trying to mansplain anything to me. You did not talk over me. You did not negate any of my opinions. Like, you're just, when you're paying attention and invested, two things that are key here when you're an amazing listener, and you will share how you feel or think about something. Even sometimes the answer I would ask the question of, what are you thinking, or how do you feel? And you would honestly go, I don't know. But when you did know, you didn't, like, there was no showboating. There was no thumping your chest. There was no, I am this Dom guy and you will, but like, there was no arrogance. There was confidence, and it's always been a quiet confidence, and it's very comforting. Like, I know where I stand with you, so I never had to worry about that. But I also know that you can handle, and we figured out very early, you could handle me, not at my worst, but like, I'm a lot of things, and I can, once I'm comfortable, especially,
Yes.
I can be out there, and I'm loud, and I'm talkative, and I'm opinionated, and I have big reactions, and if I'm not having a big reaction, you should probably come check on me, because it's worse than you thought it was. But like, and you didn't shy away from that. You embraced it. You went, that's who you are, and I like that girl. Okay. So, I mean, there's probably about 1,000,001 reasons ultimately over time where we went, yes, you're my person. But when I think back to the beginning where I was like, okay, we went from, you were a funny guy with these pictures on your blog, to we are having detailed, in-depth, paragraphs long conversations by email every day, of which I still have every one of those emails.
Same.
Those were the things. That was what I was drawn to. But you never, like, I'm, for about half a minute and in a scene, I love that overly confident, larger than life Dom persona, but in a day-to-day, like, we gotta be two people just living life. That's too much. And you never presented that to me until it was a kink moment, and whether it was over the phone or we were together, and it was it was the heat of the
It wa-
moment,
it
and
was
it was the scene. It was what was
part of what
called
we were
for.
doing at that time.
Right. But outside of that, you never lost your authority. You just didn't need to present it in that way. Because I'm the type of person that if I trust you and care for you and feel cared for by you and feel seen and heard by you, then you're going to get my respect, and I'm going to allow you to have that authority. You never had to take it or, show that you were the big bad man, like that. No. But when you would turn it on, it was hot as fuck. That was also another good reason to choose you. Because it's funny. I am uncomfortable by doing the look into each other's eyes thing, mostly because I don't always know what I'm seeing. I get kind of like, what does that expression mean? But tone of voice and body language, I respond to very well. So you have always been the look in my eyes, make eye contact, and I'm always like, okay, this is difficult. But if I don't have to look at you and I keep my head bowed, or we're on the phone and it's the other things that aren't hard for me, oh yeah, you had this way about you. But it wasn't a constant showboaty thing, which is important. And I think a lot of people who would have been, socialized as feminine or as a woman would understand. Sometimes you like it, but most of the time it's too much. It's like, what are we doing here? And you never did that. Okay. Next question. I love you. You keep looking over at me like, oh, that's right, I like this girl. See, look, I can be nice, okay? When I get out of my own fucking head, I can be nice. Next question. What is your favorite memory together? What's your favorite memory of us?
Oh, gosh. That's a tough one. I'd have to say one of the top memories of us is the time you came down for the weekend and we trashed a hotel room.
Your favorite memory is fuckery. Of course your favorite memory is fuckery. I mean, yes. You know what? I don't even know if we're physically capable of that level of acrobatics anymore. I don't know.
Right.
We'd have to go on a serious fitness plan before we could do that again. It's funny. I enjoy that memory. I already know what my favorite memory is, but I can see why it's your favorite. We were at our peak fuckery-ness.
Yeah.
At that point. Yeah.
And one of my other favorite memories is when I came up to visit you one time, and I cannot remember the name of the restaurant, but I can see the place. You and we went out for a very quiet, very nice dinner that night.
Was it the seafood place? Was I wearing the dress?
Yeah.
That I think I've finally, 10 years later, I've not worn it and fit into it in 7 or 8 years. I finally gave it away.
Yeah.
I think. I might still have it. I love that dress because I was sexy in it, and I loved it because that date, that was a very good, because we walked along the beach. And
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a very special night.
I know. And it's funny because this isn't really what it probably should be about, but I remember feeling sexy and wanted, and did I feel submissive or did I feel feminine? Those two things are not the same thing, but I know that I was feminine in my submission. Like I felt, nobody's ever going to describe me as dainty. And we've been at minimum the same height from day one. I'm now a little taller. Thanks, bad back. But I think I felt small and cared for in this. I mean, I hesitate to use the word dainty, but there was something about it where I felt that energy, and you were very much like, it was the way you held my hand, and it was the way, I love it when put your hand on the small of my back, like, holy shit, just bend me over the rail now, holy shit. Not everybody can do that, but there was just this air of, yes, it was my town. Yes, it was a place I knew about, but you were taking care of everything. We were on this date, and you were like, in your very quiet way, you're domly confident, like I'm the guy in charge. And from appearances, you might not guess that, and that's fine. I don't give a fuck if anybody can guess it. But that night, the air about you the servers were talking to you first, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the men, like in couples or just individual men that we might pass were like looking at you first, or like doing the nod that, you know, especially older men, like there's this nod and I don't know what it means. I don't have to. And that was a good night.
Mm-hmm.
I might still have that dress, but I might have finally parted with it. I'll never be small enough to get into that thing again. These hips have spread too fucking much. But I kept that dress because I felt sexy in it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was tied to that night.
You look marvelous in that dress.
Oh, God. If I didn't have to do unhealthy things to get back down to that, because I felt, there's very few times I feel sexy. That was one of those times I felt sexy. I knew I was sexy that night. Because, like, everything about, like, not even, it wasn't things you said, it was just, I don't know, like, the whole atmosphere. So those are really good memories.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna laugh.
Uh-oh.
My favorite memory, and hold on, YouTube, you'll get to see this podcast. I'm sorry, you won't, because it's a podcast, you can't see. There's a picture of us on your motorcycle together when you didn't have your full beard. If anybody'd like to see this, hold this thought. Okay, so was that my first time on a motorcycle with you? It was when I still lived up in Fort Walton and you came to visit.
Yeah.
We took a selfie,
Mm-hmm.
and I was terrified, but I
You
was
were.
so excited. And every time I see this picture of us, I have it in a couple places. We have it here.
Mm-hmm.
It's still on my phone, I think. It's on, like, I've got it several places. We were so happy and so, like, excited to be together. Now, did I scream like a maniac while you were doing 30 miles an hour going
Now,
down the road? Yes, I did.
What is funny about that, you were in the townhouse then,
Yep.
and was your first time on a motorcycle.
Oh, God.
I had ridden up to see you, taken the bike up to see you.
Mm-hmm.
I think we probably tried half a dozen times to leave the parking lot of the townhouse.
It's like a little one narrow lane. It's not like a parking lot lot either. It's like an alleyway.
Because you were so nervous.
My palms got so sweaty. My hands sweated into your shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, left palm
Yeah.
prints on your stomach.
Mm-hmm. 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 And I think what finally did it for you was when I said, okay, look, if you're that nervous, maybe we just need to
And I went,
do
no,
this.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
We're going to do this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say, this is probably still true on some levels, but I felt it most when we were still long distance, especially early in our relationship and our power exchange. I did things that scared the shit out of me so I could do them with you. And I don't do that a lot anymore. Like, I have to do shit that scares me all the time, but when everything scares you, that's not exactly news. Like, making a phone call is scary. So when you were like, no, this is too much for you. We're not going to do this. This is too much for you. I went, I can do this. I will do this. And I did. I left sweaty handprints on your shirt.
You did.
And
You
every
did.
time you had to, like, break or make, like, kind of even, we didn't even, like, make that many turns. Like,
No.
where we were going to eat for lunch was a straight
Pretty
shot.
much straight shot, yes.
But every time I felt the bike, like, have to veer a little bit, did I shriek? Yes, I did. Now, here's what's funny, after that first time I didn't. I was still nervous because I didn't have experience with it, and I'm a nervous person in general. But after that, like, once I got comfortable enough with it that I could at least stay calm, I was like, well, when are we going again? When are we going again?
Yep.
And now, you had, before you lost the bike in the accident in 2021, you hadn't ridden it for a while because it had needed work and it had sat too long. There's just been so much, blah, blah, blah. And so when you got the bike working again and we're going to start riding it again, you were like, I have to get back into the zone of being able to do this myself.
Right.
So I didn't get to ride with you, and I had gained a lot of weight, and I was like, yeah, and you're going to have a new balancing act, because I am not, this is not the same body that rode with you back in the day. And so, while, you know, it's not, you riding your motorcycle is not my passion like it is for you, I miss it, and it's been longer even for me. So, Lord, it'll be interesting when you get your bike. Now, we've got a whole plan for your bike that it won't be, I don't think I'll be tense at all when I'm riding on that once we get to that. But I think part of it is the reason I'm so insistent that come hell or high water, we will figure this out, is because it's tied back to that and those first memories. And even though I was terrified out of my fucking mind at first, I was so joyous. The picture, this to me, that's what I remember, the sweaty palms and the screaming, and I know you do too. But I also remember how excited I was to be with you doing that thing.
Yeah. And
I could do things that scared me because you were with me. And that's been true since we've been together. I'll do a whole hell of a lot of shit because my daddy Dom is with me and is holding my hand or is standing behind me or is supporting me or is making me or whatever. But I feel like, you know, mid-30s me was a lot bolder and brasher than mid-40s me. Mid-40s me is sort of worn down.
Yeah.
So, this is one where we're saying what the other has done for us. Next question. Oh, no. Oh, my God. We've been talking for so long and we're barely in. No, actually, wrong one. What qualities do you admire most in your partner? So, not about you. About what? Okay. Yeah. When you admire about me. I'm afraid.
No, don't be afraid. I think the best quality that I admire in you is your belief in me, because I had spent so much of my life with people not believing in me, and for you to be there and so staunchly believe in me and the things I could do, that meant a lot. It still does.
I know. I usually believe in you more than you believe in you, which it's a sad thing to feel like I use this in a lighthearted way, bullying you into things that I'm like, you're capable of that. What the hell? What are you doing sitting on your ass? She says submissively.
And what about you?
I admire a lot of qualities in you, and a lot of them are the things that drew me to you. The fact that you're so humble, a little too humble, like the amount of things that, you know, you are really good at, and you're like, I'm actually kind of crap, and I'm like, let me show you the spreadsheets and the dollar amounts. No, you're not bad at this. And you know, and it goes both ways. I believe in you and you believe in me. Like, none of what we'd be doing today would have happened if you hadn't believed in me first and gone, not only do I think you can do this freelance thing, work for yourself, do the things you say you want to do, but I'll bankroll it. I'll cover you and your children while you make the attempt. And then as I got further in and it became more about the Kayla Lord stuff and less about my non-kink stuff, you were like, sure, I'll join you. Sure, I'll help you. Sure, I'll do the thing with you. Like, I know I'm a person with a shit ton of ideas, many of which are probably bad ideas. And I don't think you've ever hesitated.
Yeah, but you snookered me in on that one. You told me originally you just have to be behind the scenes, do some editing work.
For like 6 whole weeks. Can't help it that we're better together. But, you know, that's the thing. I can't think of the last time you told me, like, no to an idea or you pushed back. But I know that you would. If I come out with something like
I have
completely out of pocket and like just off in crazy land, and you're going to be like, you never tear me down. But you will kind of ask questions that make me think about it a little bit more. But for the most part, when I have an idea, if I can come to you with like solid, like, here's the plan and blah, 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 you completely support me. Like, you're like, yeah, baby girl. Go do it. Go do the thing. Put your ass on the internet. It'll be great. I'm like, okay. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, my previous relationships, non-kinky, I fell in love with potential more than reality. And so it's a little scary not scary, but I'm aware that it's not good to fall in love with potential. You gotta be in love with the real person. Like, you gotta look at who that person is. And so to know that I support you because I see your potential, and you support me because you see my potential, and we support each other. I know why it works, because we have backed up the potential with reality. We, to the best of our ability, do what we say we'll do. We honor our commitments. We put in as much effort as we possibly can into things, and we do that for one another. So you're off working on something with the kinkery that I can't do, but I'm a cheerleader in the stands going, "You got this, Daddy, how can I help you?" And I'm over here wiggling my ass on the internet, and you're like, "You got this, baby girl, you're gorgeous," you know. Just, we're each other's biggest cheerleaders. And there's lots of qualities you possess that I love, but when I think about what is it that makes me feel safe and secure and like I can do anything, it's because I've got you going, "Baby girl, you can do anything. What you want to do? It can't cost $1 million, but what you want to do, we're going to do it." And all the things we have now and the things we've done wouldn't have happened if you hadn't been a cheerleader and a staunch supporter and sure, I'll get in there and do that crazy ass bullshit with you on the internet. Like, I know how fortunate I am. So, yeah. And you always deserve to have somebody in your corner cheering you on. And, you know, do I get pissed off every time I think about all the fuckers who failed you prior to you meeting me? Yeah, a little bit. I pissed off about that on your behalf. But you got me now, so here we are.
True.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next question. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
How has your partner supported you during challenging times?
We actually just kind of talked about this the other day.
Our whole life right now is challenging.
Yeah, well, you know.
2021 to now.
Yeah. You know, I think what has meant the most to me through all the challenges we've been going through, especially the last few years, in past relationships that I've been in, I've had partners, you know, that have gone, "Well, okay, you know, yeah, this is a shitstorm, but, you know, here, it's all yours.
It's your shitstorm.
It's your shitstorm. I want no part of this.
Yeah.
You know, keep me out of it."
Right. Go through the worst thing of your whole fucking life, but do it over there and on your own time.
Right.
Don't bother me with it. Yeah.
And you have not done that. You have stood by me and walked this walk with me side by side, and you know, held me up when I couldn't hold myself up, and I hope I've done the same for you. But you know, I think that's the biggest thing, that you have stood by my side through all this.
And I get mad at the people who failed you before me, that you think that is somehow a fucking astonishing. That's like the very definition of partner. We are partners. Yes, you are my daddy dom and you are in charge, and I'm trying to be as submissive as possible and do what you say. But at the end of the day, we are in this together. And truly, the way we've configured our life, we are in it together at every level. And you know, there's an argument to be made that that's not always great to not have any separation, but I figured out early on, we are better together than apart. But when you say, "Okay, I'm your partner," it can't just be in the fucking good. It's got to be in the shit and the hard times. And because quite frankly, sometimes we're all we fucking got. Right? Like, I'm the only one there to push you along in my tough love kind of way, in my grating, annoying kind of way. And, you know, you're the one there going, "You got this." For me, it's always sort of a lack of confidence for me, where I'm like, you know, the ideas aren't working or the strategies aren't working. And I'm like, "Okay, what am I doing?" And you're over there going, "No, you've got this. You've got this." And I'm, you know, we reciprocate that. You know, you're not going to go through hard stuff without me, because what I've learned over all these years is I can't make the hard stuff less hard. You can't make the things I go through less difficult. But when you have somebody there that you can lean on and that will support you and that will encourage you and they'll just remind you that you are a person worthy of love and affection, it's a whole hell of a lot easier to get through the moment. And quite frankly, what would our other options be to not try to get through these hard times, to sit still and let everything pile on top of us? Well, that's not fucking sustainable. So you know what? I linked arms with you good times. I was happy to do shit with you good times. Well, guess what? That means we're going to do it in shitty times.
Bad times too.
The hard part, and this is where this episode topic ended up being so important, is because what happens to us both, and we do this to each other, we get so in our heads about the shit times and we forget that we've got the other, that then we don't turn on each other. Like, we don't have fights, we're not arguing, but we are not speaking to one another with a lot of love and affection. It's very rushed, and I don't have time for this, and I got shit on my mind.
We're both in our own orbits doing our own.
Right.
Yes.
And we're each trying to reach our goals so that we can fix the problem. And we're doing it separately but together. And that means in those moments where we're coming back together and we're in our own head, we forget the love and connection part. But yeah, I mean, you've been my biggest supporter, quite frankly, almost since day one. Like, not like exactly day one, but by the time we figured out there was a connection and we were it for the other. We didn't know what that meant at the time, but like, it was you and me. I mean, I have been fortunate enough to have good close friends who supported me and bigged me up. And my mom is a supporter. I'm very lucky to have 3 people beyond you. So it was important to me. It was telling to me that you were that big of a supporter. But like, it was an extra happy surprise that you were such a supporter. Whereas I know for you, I was the first serious partner you'd had that was like, okay, we're on the same team together. Okay. Your problems are my problems. And I mean, I still remember I think you were between paychecks. There was something weird going on with your money and you needed to buy a gift for your mom. And you were like, oh, I'm going to be late with her gift because I can't get this thing and blah, 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 blah. And I went, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's weird. That was not something I sat and thought about before I did it. It kind of fell out of my mouth, and then my brain caught up and went, should you be offering that? Me, a single mom with 2 kids, I was making the best money of my life, which was not that great, but still. And I was like, but he needs it. And that's just why that wasn't the moment I went, oh, clearly we're connected. Because I don't do that for a lot of people. My trust issues prevent that. But you needed it. I had it. I'll help you. And I mean, that's kind of been us from the beginning.
It has.
It was how our DS started. I needed help with something and you went, okay, I'll help you. There was none of this, what's in it for me? What's, why me? Like, we were never like that. And thank God. That sounds awful. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What is something your partner does that makes you feel loved and appreciated?
It's not so much something you do, but it is something I look forward to at the end of the day. When we go to bed and we have our little routine. When I spank you, give you permission to go to bed, we get in bed, I read the weather for the next day to you.
And if I'm not listening, I have to ask you to repeat it.
Again and again and again. And again. Because you're playing Mahjong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I go to sleep.
But then even after that, we have our little ritual
of how we get into position.
Of how we get into position and finally go to sleep. And
Spoon. I'm Little Spoon. He's Big Spoon.
Yeah.
He's always cold, thank God, because I'm hot. So his cold thighs meet my hot ass, and then there's like a sizzle and some steam. But we're happy because we're like, oh, good.
So it's not something so much that you do per se, but it's something I look forward to.
Oh yeah, the day's not complete and the night's not correct if we don't go through that. The couple of times we've been so angry at one another,
Yeah.
I've actually, like, it pains me to ever point out something I think you've done wrong or where I think you're wrong. Like, I feel guilty being a submissive partner who's like, my dom has fucked this up and I have to point it out, like, all kinds of, like, a therapist would have a field day. But in the middle of a bad night where we're arguing, which thankfully it's been a while, and we don't go through that, whole night's fucked. I'm not sleeping, you're not sleeping. Nobody's having a good time. The day does not end well if we don't end with that ritual and routine. So I feel like it's kind of a cop-out to say not everything you do, but when I feel the most loved is, I think when and it's been a while because there's just been so much going on, when we flow into our more natural daddy dom baby girl state, where you are caregiving with authority, but there's a word I want. You're there's an indulgence there. I don't mean indulging like I get everything I want, but like you think my antics are cute and funny and there's this smile that you get that's a very indulgent smile. There's this look on your face where you're like, that's my baby girl, baby girl's going baby girl. and I can just be that silly, goofy, slightly childish side of myself. I'm not thinking about what kids got what project due in what class, this email to this call to this, this bill, this work thing, this whatever. We just are having these, and sometimes it's like 30 seconds. It's not always very long, but when we can slip into that and I get to feel that side of myself and everything else falls away for a moment, that indulgent side of you, it makes me feel very, very loved. Your caregiver side makes me feel very loved, which is why sometimes it's hard to, in kink scenes, for it to only be your sadistic side. Because, I mean, look, my masochist side's like, okay, let's do the thing. I like to just be all hot and sweaty and raggedy looking when we're done. This is great. But sometimes what I need is more of the tenderness. And I think the imbalance we currently have is that when we play is very much a cathartic sadism masochist. Yeah, we're still daddy and baby girl. We're still playful, but the focus is on how much is this going to hurt. Right. And what we don't get outside of our scene is enough time to just sit and be that part of ourselves. Where, yes, YouTube folks would be staring at JB wondering, why does he look so confused? So we usually close the door to our office. Anybody who could hear the wailing earlier, that was Ella thinking she was desperately alone. She finally waltzed through the door that didn't get closed today. There's no kids at home now.
It was closed. It was.
What, do you think that the door's just not closing all the way?
I need to get that old blind down because the string keeps it from closing. It feels like it's closed, and then it just kind of cracks back open.
So, pardon the interruption.
Sorry about that.
So, but yeah. So I feel the most loved when you're your indulgent daddy dom self, which is, it's hard to find right now when our waking moments are like, here are the things that we need to do. Here are the things that have not been done. Keep that on the list. Here's the things where, here's the shortfall, here's the plan, here, like, there's a lot of that, and that just does not lend itself to.
No, there's been a lot of balancing and juggling.
Yeah. So, okay, what was the moment you realized you were in love with your partner?
When I was willing to let you go.
That was it for me too, because I went, no. So if we're thinking of the same situation, we kept talking about how we were friends. You were a dominant. We had this little bit of power exchange going, but we weren't in a relationship. And you were explaining to me that if I met another dominant, they were probably not going to want me to be friends with you anymore, which, knowing what I now understand about platonic friends shouldn't even be in part of the discussion. Like, that still kind of pissed me off when we had that conversation. But now understanding what I do about non-monogamy and where I stand on it, I'd have been like, well, that person clearly couldn't be right for me because they wouldn't. The kind of partner I want to be with would not have been threatened by or felt threatened by me being friends with another dominant. But I knew what you meant, which is like, I'm not going to be able to do these things for you if you have a partner who is your dominant partner. And I got pissed.
You did.
Like, well, I don't want a fucking dom who's not gonna.
And at that time in my life, I did not understand there was a thing as ethical non-monogamy.
Right.
Didn't know such a thing existed. Plus, I was looking at things through lens of high protocol.
Sure.
Because again, that was something
we were nowhere near daddy and baby girl.
We were nowhere near that at that point. And the community I was part of at that time was immersed in high protocol.
Sure.
So
and that was I understood where you were coming from because my limited knowledge of power exchange at the time, it tracked with that thinking, like that possessiveness of dominance of that's my submissive, and like I found that hot until I was like, who is this imaginary dominant who's going to tell me who I'm allowed to be friends with? No, I'm not giving you up. That for me was, see, it's funny. You knew you loved me when you talked about having to give me up. And I knew I loved you when I was like, I'm not giving him up. Fuck that imaginary dominant. Hell no. So here's what was happening while that conversation and realization was happening.
Yeah.
You were doing very romantic things. You had sent me flowers for Valentine's Day, which the office girlies just loved. I was sharing an office with a coworker, and so she was seeing me constantly on my phone texting, or she would be there when you might call and I'd have a few minutes to talk to you or whatever. And I kept, when people would ask me, like, no, we're not serious. No, it's casual. We're friends. And she, love her to death. She's from the UK, very like kind of one of those like really proper British accents, and I'm not gonna try and do it, don't worry, but just like imagine that, like royalty talking to you. And she was like, darling, who are you fooling? And I was like, okay, you're right. I think even while you and I were on the side having that conversation about how, well, when you meet a dominant, this can't continue. I'm having the conversation with her where she's like, are you fucking kidding me? While you had given me a necklace that was not a collar, but it was and I'm playing with a necklace. Because when I'm thinking about you, now it's a very unconscious thing. When we were long distance, if I wanted to like feel you or I was thinking about you, I'd grab whatever I was wearing around my neck that you had given me. And I was doing that then, telling her with a total straight face, no, we're just friends. Okay, next. How have you both grown together as a couple?
Ooh.
I think we've put aside some of our fantasy thoughts about power exchange together.
True.
We've broadened our horizons and expanded our understanding of what power exchange means and can look like.
That is true. That is very true. We definitely have, especially when it comes to day-to-day life and all the bullshit it can throw at you.
Oh God,
so that is definitely one way that we have grown. I think the other thing, which sometimes is still a struggle for me, is opening up to you about things that are going on with me.
Oh yeah, I get so pissed off at you because by the time you finally do it, it's been like days, sometimes even weeks of like walking on eggshells, knowing something's not right, but can't get you to just tell me, like. And then you've built it up every time. You've built it up in your head, and it's bigger in your head, and then you say the thing out loud. I'm like, oh, well, here's the solution. Here's the thing we can try. Here's what I think. My favorite is where you don't want to tell me something because you're afraid of what I think or what I'll say because you're remembering previous relationships. Bad tapes is what we call those. Yeah. And then you finally say it, usually after I've bullied you. And then I have not a toxic response, and you go, oh. Huh? Like, we've been doing this 10 years now. Like, get with the program. Just fucking tell me. I'll find out eventually. Yes. yes, as an individual, you have grown in that way that you open up more. Like, you still have that immediate reaction to kind of go in and become self-protective as when you're being your most grumpy polar bear self, because you lash out and you're snappish, and you're like, not like, you're not mean, you're not awful, but you're not very nice. And I have learned how to recognize when it's something internal. There's something's on your mind, something's happened, something, and you were chewing on some feelings.
When I start having a conversation with myself and you see the hands
Look,
going.
you did it at the dinner table the other night in front of all of us. And you did not like that I called you out and was like, because when he does hand movements and head bobs, I know he's having a conversation with himself in his head, but he's Italian, so half Italian, but still. And I'm like, are you having a conversation with yourself? And you were embarrassed because I think you think the kids don't notice. We all know you do it. So then you snapped at me because I called you out, but I was like, in my head, I'm like, this is just further proof there's something he's thinking about and he's not talking about. And I have tried, and I mean, I'm a work in progress. I've tried to be more patient with you and let you just finally tell me. The problem is if I don't push you a little bit, you won't. I have to like almost piss you off, which I hate. I really like. I know how I come across as a partner and a submissive, but I like hate pissing you off. I don't want you to be upset. I want you to go, oh, that's right, I'm thinking some hard things right now. Let me go talk to my baby girl, because when I do that, things get solved faster and I don't feel like shit. But you haven't made that connection yet, so we're still growing is what I'm saying. We're still growing.
Yeah.
I do think we have a more relaxed view of what power exchange can mean. Because like you said, your previous experiences were high protocol. Mine was like the one relationship in every fucking blog I'd ever read. And I was drawn to the control and the almost a little scary side of that level of control. But in actually living it, it's only fun for a scene. And then I got shit to do. I don't have time for this. And so in order to have had that kind of the picture we had in our heads, which were similar but different, of what power exchange was, I would have had to alter myself completely. I would have had to become a completely different person, and I think I could do that for about 5 minutes, and then no, I could not anymore.
While I did like the structure of high protocol, and there are times I do miss it, but I like what we have grown into in that we have fun with it.
Yeah. When we can remember that this is supposed to be fun. Yeah. We do have fun with it.
Yep.
Okay. What shared experiences or interests bring you closer together?
Well, here we sit.
The fuckery. Well, I was going to say the fuckery. The absolute fuckery.
Yeah.
Sadist, masochist, daddy, baby girl.
Yep.
Impact player top, impact play bottom. Like we did the episode ages ago on the hierarchy of our hierarchy of kink needs, and our base needs align perfectly. The top tier stuff that's like
it's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, but we have our things that are important to us that don't completely align, and that's okay because the basics align.
Yes,
almost perfectly.
Absolutely.
So yes, I believe our interest in kink and fuckery has. Nothing else to say there. Okay. In what ways do you feel your partner has made you a better person?
Podcast you cannot see the expression on her face
I'm
right
waiting.
now.
Oh, you're going to love my answer, even though it pisses me off to have to say it. Do you want me to go first? Give you time to think?
No.
Okay.
You've made me believe in myself more than I ever have.
As you should. Fuck all of them that took that away from you. I'll fight all of them. Give me a time machine. I'll go flick somebody in the back of the head 40, 50 years ago.
I know, we know.
Oh yeah. Don't fuck with me in mine.
Go ahead.
I hate that I'm not perfect at this. It's a work in progress. Well, you've forced me to become a more patient person.
Wow.
patience really can fucking work. Not always. Sometimes you got to move quickly, break shit and move fast. But most of the time, if you just sit still for 5 minutes, the solution will present itself. It'll work itself out, or it won't be as bad as you were worried about, and you didn't have to do anything. I hate that that's true. I fucking hate that it's true. I do, but you have taught me to be more patient. And I know from your perspective, it probably does not look like I'm being patient. But I promise you, by the time I come to you with a thing, these days it's probably been weeks before I've thought about it, researched it, waited, looked for the right opportunity, blah, 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 and then I'm saying something. Or the other thing I've learned that with regards to fucking patience is I'll present a thing to you, and if you're not immediately on board, I go, okay, and I pull back and I keep doing my research, and I have learned, keep your ears open, keep your eyes open. When the opportunity will present itself again. And then it does. Fucking patience. Okay.
The P word.
Okay, last question. What are some small, everyday moments that make you grateful for your partner? Small, everyday moments.
Okay. 2 things.
Okay.
2 things. When you make me my iced coffee.
I remember you mean.
One time, I give you that. And the other thing, I know this is going to sound silly, but I look forward to seeing my supplement laying on the napkin.
You get very confused when you don't see your probiotic in the morning. You're like, what has happened here? I'm like, I haven't had breakfast yet. You'll get it. You know what's funny? And I don't know if funny is the right word, but I think it makes sense considering the ebb/flow of life we're in right now. You look forward to it, and so when I haven't gotten to it yet, I haven't sat down for breakfast, I changed up my routine, something is different, and you mention it, for like half a second I get annoyed because I forget that it's a thing I'm doing, not as a service that you asked me to do, but because I can do this for him because I can do this for him, and I will. And I don't think I always understand how meaningful that kind of thing can be to you, even when you're like, where's my supplement? I'm like, see that box right there, or give me a minute, just give me a minute. But so now I get to feel the guilt of having been kind of bitchy about that now that I know how much it means to you.
See?
So I apologize for earlier attitude. I'm sorry.
Apology accepted, baby girl.
But it's one of those things that we didn't negotiate and
no,
talk
we
about.
didn't. You
so I don't always understand what those things mean when we don't talk about
that's why it means so much, because it's not something we talked about. You just started doing it.
Because you weren't getting your probiotic in regularly. You kept forgetting. Somebody's got to take care of you. Look, I'm sorry. You're going to be a desiccated husk leaning up against the mantle at 120 years old with your wheelchair/walker/hover scooter thing they have at that point. Okay? I don't know. So, yeah, I'm going to take care of your gut health, your brain health, your heart health, all the healths. Okay? We're working on your dick health and your prostate health. We work on all of it. So
all right, now on to you.
Here's my problem.
Okay.
You do meaningful things for me with a fairly regular, like at a there was a word, fairly regularly. Let me just restructure the sentence. But I feel guilt when you do shit for me, because I think I'm supposed to do all the shit for you, and if you were doing something that I would normally do because you're trying to help me, my brain goes, look at you over there failing at not getting it done, and there's your daddy having to do it. I know. So there's a lot of fucking shit you do that I know is, one, because you're a good person, a good partner, and because you love me, and it's you taking care of things so that you can take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wired badly. So those things are acts of love, and I know that I have to rewire my brain to remember that. So the things that the small everyday moments that make me grateful for you are also the things that sometimes make me feel like a bad submissive human being.
Wow.
So like if you know that I've had a long hard day, and technically it should be my turn to wash dishes and you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know how, and it shouldn't be special. It should be like how partners are, but I know how special that is when you take care of a thing so I don't have to, when you remember something that I'm trying to remember, like those kinds of small little things, I am grateful to you. I just have the problem of thinking I'm supposed to be all things all the time to everyone and do it perfectly. And so I don't always feel grateful. I have to tell myself, that was a very nice thing he did. Kayla, feel fucking grateful. That is the appropriate response. I will forever and always feel grateful when you bring me a Diet Coke without me having to ask. Always, always. Like, I have gotten to a point I don't ask very often. When I ask, like, I'm jonesing for one, and I'm like,
yeah.
I don't care what your plan was. I'm telling you, I need one.
Well, it's funny, folks. When we, especially when we were having all the band stuff a couple weeks ago, we were eating on the run. I would always order a Diet Coke with my meal. I'd end up taking a couple sips, and then I'd hand the cup off to her.
I never recognized that for what it was till you finally just fucking told me. Sometimes you can't be subtle with me. You better tell me or you will not get the reaction. Like, I started teasing you. I was like, oh, you can never finish a Diet Coke. And finally you realized who you were dealing with. And you went, do you know what I'm doing? And I'm like, no, I'm clueless. Totally clueless. I mean, every day something happens and I go, there's no way I'm neurotypical. There's just no way. There's no fucking way. The wiring up here got crossed somewhere along the way. There's no way.
I was more shocked that you realized what I was doing with the AC when we went to bed.
It took me a minute. It took me a few days.
It did take you a little bit. Okay.
But I did finally figure it out.
Okay.
So, we go to bed at night. Okay, we keep our house warmer than I would like because I am combustible, thanks perimenopause. But JB is always cold. He gets cold when he should not be cold. Like, go to a doctor, man. But at night, while we're doing our nightly routine and we're in bed and you're reading and I'm playing a game, and it might be 45 minutes some nights. Just depends on when we finally get tired enough. He bumps the air to a place I would like it to live at, which is would still be warm for some people. I would love it to live there, but we're trying to watch our electric bill. And for a good hour or so, I mean, it's cold enough because where the vent is in our bedroom, it's blowing directly on me. I fucking love it. I'm like, if I could, I'd just starfish in the bed and let that cold air hit every crevice.
It gets so cold, my nipples hurt.
I get cold enough that my toes ache, and I fucking love it because I know that one, you're going to put your cold body up against my hot body when we go to bed, and then I'm going to be I'm going to stay warm after being cool, and then I'm going to wake up 5 or 6 times because I'm so damn hot. So I fucking love getting that cold, knowing that it's for a temporary amount of time. And I noticed that it was happening regular. Like, for a while it wasn't happening. It was whatever it was. And I was constantly complaining, like, I'm not cool enough. I don't think you're even cool enough. And then I noticed for a couple nights in a row that we got cold, and it was delightful. And then finally, on the 3rd or 4th day, I saw you because the app to the AC is on his phone. I saw you doing something on your phone before or after doing the weather, and it finally clicked. Finally clicked. Look, here's my new life goal. I want to earn enough money that I don't care about the electric bill.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Now, is that good for the environment? Probably not. But
no.
I just want to not sweat in my own house. Thanks. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's very common and very easy for long-term couples, relationships, to not notice the little things. But I think one of the nice things about us and why we're such a good match is I don't wake up in the morning going, what little thing can I do for JB to make his day? But when I see a thing I can do, I'm gonna do it. For me, it's easy to kind of like have that thought process, because part of what I love to do for somebody I care about is to do something to make their life a little bit better or easier, or to take care of them in some way. This is just how I show affection, is how I engage in relationships. When it is done for me, I do feel very special when I can get that guilt thing to shut the fuck up and not, immediately go in with how I should have taken care of that. And if I just did everything I was supposed to do, I wouldn't need anybody to help me, all that bullshit. When that part of me can shut off, it makes me feel very special. I kind of like feeling special until the monster in my head goes, who cares if you're special? You're not special. Like, yeah. Kids are right. I need to be medicated. Let's just... So those are the questions. So, question for you. Last follow-up question.
Follow-up question. Oh, goodness.
I was going to say, do you or do you not feel bonita? But no. Do you now feel back in touch with remembering how much you love me?
Nah.
God damn it.
Yes.
Do you feel reconnected?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know why I would be surprised by this, because it totally makes sense. I was a little surprised at some of the things that we both went, yeah, that. And we both feel the same way about the same thing, or had like the moment we knew we were in love was two sides of the same coin.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, God. Are we being disgustingly cute again?
Probably.
I can live.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I felt disgustingly cute with you. Life's been a slog. It's not a lot of time or room for cuteness. So if we have to manufacture it during a live stream, okay. Right. So, if you want to, I'm going to have the questions in the show notes for the podcast. But if like you're watching on YouTube, or even on the podcast, if you want to like watch the reel from Therapy Jeff yourself, answer a few of these questions, you can. The point of this was not to tell anybody that they should think the way we do or feel the way we do, but it was just a good reminder for you long-term relationships out there that maybe, you're in an ebb instead of a flow of life, and things are tough, and, vanilla life's kicking your ass. Maybe sit down and like do some of these questions together and verbally remind one another of what you already know, but when the knowing of it can get pushed to the back burner, because it's a constant. I know this, so I don't have to think about this. Right.
It's good to bring it out to see the light once in a while.
It is.
Yep.
So before we go into a bonus section, just a reminder, we will be going live on YouTube Friday, May 19th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We typically stay around till midnight Eastern our time. And we do have things to do the next day, but nothing that means we have to get up at a crazy early hour, so we should stay around till midnight. We will be off the next 2 Wednesdays. Maybe some random streams to test stuff, but I couldn't tell you when. That's why they would be random. And if you are looking for ways to like figure yourself out as a kinkster, have your power exchange relationship like work better for both of you, check out our BDSM workbooks on our Etsy shop. Link in the places. There we go. I did the thing. We can do a bonus section now.
So are we good?
I don't know. Keep it kinky, y'all. We'll see you in June. We'll see you May 19th, and then we'll see you in June. Daddy.
Yes, baby girl.
Can I talk to the crickets, please?
Well, I suppose you could.
I mean, you could talk to the crickets if you want, but somebody's got to talk to the crickets. We can't just leave them out there hanging. That's not fair to the crickets.
Yeah, well, I mean, the crickets do hang out here. They, expect somebody to be talking to them. So. I mean, in the crickets in the live chat on YouTube, they don't need us. True.
But podcast listeners are presumably listening most likely by themselves, maybe with a partner or a friend. But, usually, sometimes it's the toll worker as they
That's
roll down
true,
the window.
As they roll down the window to pay the toll, as they go,
We've definitely.
We've had that. So I guess, since the folks are expecting bonus section, you can go ahead and talk to the crickets.
Okay. I got nothing. Look, if I could hold a thought in my head for more than about half a second, I got plenty. But I am absolutely in a period right now this week so far where I can't keep information in my brain truly longer than about 30 seconds. Right. It's been that part's been rough this week. I don't know. I almost signed a school related email as Kayla. I almost signed a sex writer related email as my legal name. It was in the correct email account. Like, it was going to be sent from the right email, but signing my fucking name. Nope.
So there was some talk in the live chat about gray hair.
Yeah, I hide mine with turquoise.
I've embraced mine. I've embraced mine for years. I look at it as a badge of honor at this point.
I feel like anybody
especially
who
the beard
saw the live streams and the videos for the year-ish that I didn't go get my hair done, blah, blah, blah. I tried to embrace it. When I look in the mirror when my hair is not dyed, I do not recognize myself. I do not know that person. And I don't, in my mind, I don't feel stigma around gray hair. Like, I don't feel a sense of shame. I've never been told like it's a bad thing or that I should hide it or whatever. I don't know. Like, therapy time. If I were to dig into it a little bit, maybe, and this is a stretch. Like, not everything has to have some deep hidden meaning. Some things can just be. I'm aware. But my mom is now in her 60s, and she gets her hair dyed, and it looks good on her. It is not one of those sort of unnatural, like, that tone doesn't match anything about you. It looks like you put black paint on your head, which, hey, if you like that look, go for it. But, like, my mom has always been like, I want to stay subtle and natural and whatever. But the one time I saw her for about half a minute with it was just her roots, actually, gray hair, was in the 6 to 8 weeks after my dad died. And essentially the stress and grief turned her hair solid, because it had been salt and pepper prior to right before he died. And I do think I look at, and then the majority of my silver hair that came in the grays I was starting to get, because it was very much a salt and pepper thing, I attribute to stress and strife as well. And I think if I'm psychoanalyzing myself a little bit, that could be it. That it's, for me, it's not a marker of aging gracefully, of just getting older. I find gray hair and salt and pepper hair and white hair very beautiful on other people. I think on me, it's a reminder of how bad things have gotten at times. Like, it was also a reminder of, you can't afford to color your hair. I can't afford it now, but I make it work. You can't afford to color your hair. And I think there was a little bit of that too. So I think if I was to let myself go gray or whatever it is naturally underneath all this, not because I didn't feel like I had a choice and it was the responsible choice to make, but because I really truly wanted to, maybe I would feel differently about it. Maybe.
Yeah.
But
so yeah. And as Kayla mentioned a couple times, we will be taking a break for 2 weeks. And I believe it was Silent Wing who mentioned the software XSplit.
Yeah.
And I started looking into it, looking up the software, looking at different reviews, different things like that, different tutorials. And I was fairly impressed by it, by what I saw. And that is one of the things that we're planning on doing over the break. I'm going to download the software onto the computer here that we use for streaming. And I'm going to play with it a little bit and see, if it is something that will meet our needs and be a better fit than OBS. OBS has been great for us for a long time.
It's great until it's not great.
Yeah.
And I know there's a shit ton of features we're not using in OBS.
True. True.
I like that we could have done this before this with OBS or whatever, but I like that and I believe that we will use the time wisely. We've tried this before and then not use the time wisely.
Yeah.
But I like that we're being intentional with this. And, you've been watching tutorials and you're like, oh, we have these features and these features. I'm like, perfect. I want those features.
Right.
Now
right.
let's
and
actually.
That's why I've been mentioning it as I've been finding them. So, Kayla's right. There may be moments when we just kind of, both or one of us just kind of pop up online and, do a.
We got to test it and see what it looks
do a random
like.
thing and test. From what I'm seeing, with XSplit, we may be even able to put that Elgato to use that we've had in the closet for a while. It looks like it's compatible with that. So there are things that I'm kind of looking forward to digging into that and playing with that. So, I mean, we are going to have stuff going on in the next couple weeks with the end of school coming up and graduation. Was kind of funny, at least to us. One of the things that I had not seen this until we moved here to Ocala. When families have seniors, they have these little poster signs made up that they
like
put in the yard signs.
Usually with like their senior portrait or their cap and gown portrait or something. Yeah.
And they'll put them in their yard. Our oldest was dead set against that.
Also, they're like $40 a pop,
and they're a bit pricey, for something that's going to sit in the yard for a couple weeks and then
you
vanish.
never have a use for it again. What are you do with it? No.
So life has a funny way.
It does
of happening. Last weekend we were at the oldest's band award ceremony,
where he was highly honored. Several things. It was
really nice to see.
Full.
Yeah, it was really nice to see. And as a senior and as someone who was in band, the school,
the band,
I'm sorry, yeah. The band had these banners made up
for each senior.
Okay, and it had the picture of him and class of 2023,
right,
and
it said
yada
like
yada yada,
blah 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 band, blah blah blah.
So and they had these hanging up at the school through the year, and at the ceremony he was, in addition to his awards, he was given this banner.
You got crafty.
It worked out in our favor. Kayla went to him and said, "Do you want us to take your certificates and medals and
home so it
didn't get lost in the bowels of the car?" And he was like, "Yes, please. Otherwise, that's exactly what would happen." So we got home. While we're driving home, I'm having thoughts. So I told Kayla, I said, "I want that banner. Do not put that in his room. Give that to me." And she gave it me. I put it on the side. Monday morning, I got to work, and I dug out some PVC pipe. And I made a frame, and I put it up in the yard.
So we spent $6.
$6
instead of the $40.
I needed a couple pieces of,
and it's like a life-size banner. Like, it's only him from like waist up, but the part of the picture is life-size. This is if he stands next to it, you're like, yeah, that's about your size. And there's his little cheesy grinning face, staring out at the road
in his band uniform. He
was not happy. The 13-year-old went, "Well, that was just wrong." I went, "No, it's great. We're very proud." I said, "Wait till it's your turn." He goes, "No, no, you're not doing this to me." Like, if they hand me a banner, probably. So, yeah, now, I mean, we're not on a massively busy street. Most of the neighbors know one another. Like, it's not like, randos who are
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, it's a little bit of proof of, no, look, we do have a kid. No, I've had a few neighbors go, you have kids, right? I never see your boys. I'm like, I don't know how to explain to these folks that I have indoor cat children and you're not going to see them. Now the neighborhood gets to see at least one of them. In 5 years' time, they'll get to see
the other one. Yeah. So yeah, it was kind of funny how that worked out,
Oh,
and,
he did not like it.
Oh, I had just finished putting it up in the yard, and I was walking back into the garage when he pulled up, and I just kind of, I looked up. He was getting out of the car, and he looked at me, and he gave me the death stare.
I fully expect to wake up one morning and find it like in pieces or like just not in the yard anymore. But they've left it alone.
They've left it alone.
So yeah, you got to have your little moment of fun.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't. Once the kid was like, I don't want a yard sign, and I saw the price and went, I'm not paying $40 for that. Right? I was like, okay, it's fine. I don't need this. I didn't have it before, so it's no big deal. But then when you put the banner up, I went, there's my baby, and I was so proud.
Right?
I was so proud. Oh my gosh. So yeah, the next, we've been talking about, it's just been wild and crazy around here. It's a little bit quiet right now. All of the band parent stuff is done. The oldest goes on his band trip on Saturday. The youngest is limping towards the finish line of 7th grade. I've been in constant contact with a couple of his teachers, and one of his, partly because it was like his first semester grades were so bad that if he did not do at least passably decent second semester, he might have to do summer school or whatever. And the thing is if his problem was a comprehension problem where he was not understanding the concepts, it'd be like, okay, we got to do what we got to do so he understands this stuff. But it's his own executive dysfunction and just being a teenage child of can't stay organized, can't remember stuff. Like it's been a little bit rough, but I was like, and I told him, I was like, we got to get you through the end of this semester with passing grades so you don't have to do summer school, which would be sitting at a computer at school doing self-directed assignments, so not even engaging or interesting, not because he needs the comprehension help, but because he missed assignments throughout the year, like poorly, like bad, big missed assignments, but still. So I was like, this is not, no, I don't, let's try to avoid this if we can. So I've been in serious conversation with a few of his teachers because those were where his grades were the worst. And one of his teachers said to me, she went, look, if he can get XYZ done semi-well, we can get him through and passing. She was like, it might not be pretty, but he will pass. Yeah. She sent me an email this morning and went, look, with the stuff he's turned in, the grades he's gotten so far, final grade is status quo, final grade will be a C. And I went, that's the ugliest C anybody's ever earned, but here we are, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And like we've got one more teacher where it's like right now he's sitting at a D, which is enough, but it's like, can we edge it up to that C level? I'll take C's. If that's the best we can get, that's fine. And we've got a lot of plans for next year to hopefully help him.
Yeah.
He's a lot of plans for this summer. I'm just looking forward to and I know he is, God knows I know he is. Looking forward to the break from fucking school.
Right.
Like, please, last night, when I say I help, I mostly facilitated. He had a project that he's been working on in class, and he had to finish up because it was due today. I finally got to be the crafty mom. We broke out the Cricut for some of this stuff. I was like, you don't want to hand cut these? You want these to be smooth cut and pretty? And I got you. Let's do this. I was like, what kind of paper? We've got construction paper, craft paper, copy paper, cardstock. What do you need? And I went, when did I become this mom? Because I am not that mom. Because the oldest didn't need me for this kind of stuff. He would wait to the last minute and take the dopamine rush of doing shit under pressure, but he didn't get lost in the step-by-step stuff the way the youngest does. Tonight, we got to do a math project that he's had for a month, but he forgot and then was convinced that the teacher never mentioned again. I was like, that can't possibly be true. So we are doing what he had a month to do. We gonna do it in one night. Now, when I say we, again, I'm here to facilitate. Meaning, my job. What I do is I talk through ideas with him. Here's what you need to have done. How do you want to get it done? And then I go, do you have questions on how to get it done? And if he doesn't have questions and he can just do it, I step the fuck back. I don't do none of his fucking work for him. I just make fucking sure he can get it done. And most of what I have been doing lately at home is working through his overwhelm with him. So all he sees is he's got 8 worksheets to do and he's immediately overwhelmed. I'm like, okay, let's break this down. Or he'll see that he's got this big project due and he can't come up even with the idea. I'm like, okay, let's break this down. He thought he was never going to finish the project that was due today. He had 3 things he had left to do. And I was like, okay, let's break this down. Like, you're not trying to do all these things at once. We're going to do these one at a time. So, but if I am this tired, I can only imagine how exhausted he is. Like,
yeah.
So in the middle of trying to finish that up, my mom will be here next Wednesday. We'll stay till the following Wednesday. She has already, we talked on Mother's Day and she was like, so on blah, blah day, I think it was Thursday. She's like, let's go do these 5 things. And she's like, and it's all my treat. And normally I demur and I go, no. This time I went, you know how I am, but I'm going to say, okay. We can go do these things. You're paying? Okay. I'm gonna let you live the mom spending life of your dreams. That's fine. I'm not gonna say no. Normally I fight against it and go, you don't need to do that, Mom. It's fine. Mom. Nah. You go right on ahead, Mom. Spend your money. You're fine. I'm not saying no. I'm not asking for anything, but I'm not saying no.
Yeah. And Andre asked how my back was doing.
Yeah.
Andre, it's doing okay. Yeah, I have not been wearing the brace. I've not been having the kind of pain that I need to wear the brace. It's doing okay. Pain-wise, I have not had the pain like I had back in the fall.
Sure.
And into winter. Does it remind me that it is still there at times? Yeah. A week ago, Friday, Kayla and I were doing some work in the garage, and I was just walking, and all of a sudden my inner thigh went out on me.
Your leg went, no, you're not.
Leg went, nope, you're not going to do this. You know, and because of the nature of my back, it does not always manifest as pain. And there are times I get what I've affectionately come to know as muscle flutters. Again, not like the insane cramps that I was getting, but, you know, all of a sudden muscle would just kind of like start twitching, you know. So, it's still there. It is what it is, and I do what I can to.
You've got an ortho appointment in June.
Yeah.
I asked because the leg decided not to leg a few times over that weekend.
Right.
And I went, do you want me to contact the ortho office and move your appointment further up? Do we want to go sooner rather than later? And you're like, no, it's fine. I went,
no, actually what I told her, I was like, let's see what happens to the rest of the weekend, and if it's still doing this by Monday, yes.
It took you a minute to get there.
No.
You didn't like me seeing it at first.
Well, yeah.
There was defensiveness when I saw it, and I'm like, what the hell? Legs aren't supposed to do that. What the hell? I mean, do I overreact a little bit when something is wrong with somebody I love? I mean, maybe a lot.
Yes.
Maybe a lot.
Yes.
But I do it out of love. Like, when I tell you that I expect your desiccated husk to be leaning up against the mantle, that's what the fuck I mean. But like that husk, we're talking 40, 50 years from now husk, like not 2 to 3 years. Like we've got road trips to take, and we got fuckery to make, and we got shit to do.
True.
When your legs want to go out on you, I consider that a problem and would like to call a doctor.
Yeah, well, we both know what the next step is, if you know.
Well, we think we do, and part of it is the insurance is going to slow roll that as much as they can.
Right.
So we don't.
Yeah. But anyway, you know, so it kind of is what it is. It's doing as good as it can be, and you know. Yep.
So, yeah. We're here.
Yeah.
It's where I can't say I'm looking forward to the graduation because we have to sit in a crowd of lots of people I don't know, nor do I care about, in the Florida heat. We're only an hour and a half, apparently,
Right.
so that's not
And
bad.
it is early morning,
It is,
so.
but I'm not looking forward to that either.
Well.
And there's no assigned seating or tickets. It's a first come, first serve, and I'm like, oh,
As long as they can bring coffee, I don't care.
I don't know if you can or not. I guess it'll sit in the car. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna look cute. Like, that's already been predetermined. I know I'm gonna cry like a baby. You have been lately reminding me of how I was when these children were much younger.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm ready. When do they get old enough to move out? And now
it is upon us.
it is upon us, and it just doesn't feel real. And I want it to happen, but also, what? How? No, really? This is I've unlocked a new level of mom anxiety. So fun times. We'll unlock it further. We'll level up when I leave what I consider a small child in an apartment by his lonesome. Who is allowed to do that? I don't understand.
It was funny this morning.
He'll be 18, y'all. I need to get over myself.
This morning when I was talking to the oldest, as a senior, tomorrow is his last day of school.
And he's only got one class, so it's not like it's a day of school.
Right. And, the end of school is actually
next week.
So he'll be, as a senior, he'll be leaving earlier than everybody else. So I asked him this morning, I said, does it feel real to you yet? Does it, has it really, kind of sunk in that, your last day of school tomorrow and you'll be graduating in a week and a half? And he kind of had to, see him kind of thinking about it, and he was like, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, last day of school tomorrow, it's like one class, which he might not even have to go to that because that class it's an AP class and it's having its AP test today. So there's literally nothing left tomorrow. So I don't know if he'll even go to that. And then he goes to work at 12 and works from 12 to 10.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to say it wrong because I'm an old lady. He goes, Mom, I got to get that bag, make that bag. I don't remember how the expression goes, but that Gen Z's slang about making money. He's like, I'm at work. And I went, I'd love to hear it. Who is this child? Because this is not the child from his previous job.
No.
So,
from where he's working now, it's like day and night.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
but also he's day and night. He's matured so much just in the past year.
He has.
And oh my gosh, like, I know it is not necessary or accessible for everybody, but oh my God, the power of the right dosage of medication.
Yeah.
When you have something that can be helped with medication, like, holy fucking shit. I don't even think about the sheer amount of money that all of this costs. I'm like, look at the difference.
Yeah.
Here's what happens when you get help to manage whatever you're thinking. Like, mind fucking blown.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think I'll be going through my own existential crises, at least until probably we get him moved in to his apartment, and I give myself a good 5 to 10 business days after that to just be like, what the fuck even is life right now?
I'll keep you distracted.
I mean, hopefully in good ways.
Yeah.
I would love distractions that are not stressful. That's what I'm here for.
Right? Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I don't know. It's wild. So anyway, we have rambled because we know we're going to be gone for a couple weeks, and we tend to do that right before we're going to be gone. It's a longer episode. So if we could not be educational, we hope we were entertaining. We love y'all. We appreciate every one of you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we're going to go and get other things done now. And we'll see you hopefully this coming Friday for podcast listeners today, the day the episode goes out today. And then after that, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Okay. Love you. Bye.